Kelly Springer. Kelly, how are you? And we were talking, in the green room that really surprised me when it comes to, these weight loss drugs. It's so popular now, Ozempic and Wegovy and all the different ones that are out there. And then people are just being pushed onto these drugs. And you said you have an answer that's a little different than having to go on this synthetic drug, right?
Absolutely. So I just got done doing two different webinars with our transformation program. And the second lesson of that program is on carbohydrates. And we talk about fiber rich sources. And if you've ever heard me talk on this podcast, I'm always talking about fiber. And what I brought up to the groups, which surprised a lot of them in the comments, was that when we eat fiber rich sources like fruits and vegetables and whole grains, nuts and seeds, it truly will help your body to make GLP-1 naturally. GLP-1 is a hormone that our bodies make. And the drug is just a synthetic of what we can actually make ourselves. So when we eat fiber rich foods, it means that our bodies are going to create this, which creates satiety, which is fullness, which really helps with cravings. I mean, we naturally can make this.
Yeah, naturally. So like when you talk about fiber enriched foods, talk about some of them that are out there. Yeah.
So, a great way to add in fiber into the diet, a super simple way, is to add chia seeds. So, do you know anything about chia seeds, Neil?
No, I do not.
All right. So, I got enlightened about chia seeds because I live in Skinny Atlas, New York. And way back in the day, like a decade ago, there was a company called Running Food or Running Man. Sorry, it was called Running Man. And it was a chia seed distributor. And I got to go in and learn all about chia seeds. And way back when there was Aztecs and Mayans running from plantation to plantation, they used chia seeds as their only source of nutrition. That's how powerful chia seeds are. Yeah. So they'd have chia seeds and add them to water because they actually will soak up that water, but they have omega-3s. They have an incredible fiber source, a protein source, nutrients and vitamins, and they truly were the running food of this entire civilization. So pretty cool. So by adding in just a teaspoon of chia seeds to your food, you're going to be increasing the nutrition level, but also increasing the fiber.
Wow. Chia.
Yeah,
So where do you get them? Like Whole Foods, or can we pick up
anywhere.
chia?
Yeah, they'll be in
Okay.
any of your local grocery stores. You can get it truly anywhere. Another one that is great is if you get ground flaxseed. That's something that you can also sprinkle on anything. I love chia because you don't have to have it ground. It's ready to go. You can add it to salads. You can add it to a smoothie. You can add it to anything. If you do soak it overnight, it will become gelatinous. So if you want to add it into a smoothie where you don't have that crunch, that's the way to do it. Just soak it. You can even soak it for like 5 minutes and it will start to absorb that water and seriously turn gelatinous.
So okay. So chia seeds and then flaxseed. These are all different things that you put in you when you cook, put into your diet. It's pretty much added to specific things you already have.
Exactly. And these are things that have been done since ancient times. This isn't like I came up with some new radical thing. These are foods that have truly been around and part of nature since the beginning.
So flaxseed. So this is stuff that if you're, especially if you're cooking for kids, you can throw these things in if you're not getting the proper nutrients so
That's
that they add fiber to their diet and things like that. So what
that's
can you add flaxseed to?
You can add flaxseed to anything. Again, just make sure it's in its ground form. So when you buy flaxseed, buy it ground. If you already have it at home and you didn't buy it ground, you can just put it through a coffee grinder and it'll break it down. It's just that we as humans can't break down flaxseed. The husk is too firm. And so you just want to make sure you're getting it in the ground forms. But just last night, I spoke to, it was about 60 volleyball players down in the Westchester area, and we were talking about all these simple ways to add in more nutrients and vitamins, and this being one of them, making it so easy to add in these easy fiber sources to any of the meals.
Right? What other fiber sources would you look at after those?
One of my favorite fiber sources is beans, and there are so many different varieties of beans. Beans have been used in every single culture around the entire earth since the beginning of time. Beans have a fantastic fiber source. They're also protein, nutrients, and vitamins. If you can add in beans to anything, and you could, again, with kids, you could smash them up and add them into sauces, into soups. So they don't even have to be in their like regular form. They could be in a smushed up form that kids don't even know that they're getting them.
That's cool. What kind of beans? Any type of bean.
Any type of bean, Catalini bean, white bean, red bean, garbanzo bean. There's so many different varieties. I think the latest is that there's about 72 different varieties of beans at our grocery stores.
Wow. Okay. All right. So any others? So I wouldn't. So if we thought this topic before I got on with you, I wouldn't have thought these things that you talked about fiber, and these are all natural ways to have the Ozempic. It sounds like to lose weight loss for sure.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. So by getting in these fiber-rich sources, it truly helps to stabilize our blood sugar levels, and that's the key to weight loss and sustaining that weight loss as well. So let's dive into that a little bit about what that actually means. So glucose is the end game. Basically, when we eat carbohydrates, it turns into glucose. Well, when that happens, like as soon as you have a carbohydrate source, meaning you're having anything from cakes, cookies, jams, jellies, grains, fruits, vegetables, it's a huge category. But basically, when you eat that carbohydrate, the body knows and it triggers the pancreas to create this thing called insulin. And I know you've probably heard about insulin before, but insulin is a hormone and it comes out like little army guys and kind of comes out and it attaches to those sugar molecules or those glucoses and it knocks on the cell door. And when it knocks on the door opens up and it says, come on in. And it goes in and it fills the cell with energy and gives it what it needs. So we do need carbohydrates for that number one source of energy in the body. So that's what insulin does. And so when the door opens and that energy goes in, then the door shuts and says, we're full. So insulin then will take the excess sugar and bring it down to the liver for storage for later. Okay. So insulin is extremely important to make sure that we're getting that sugar into the cell and also down to the liver and other places for storage. Now, what happens is if we get too much simple carbohydrate, we talked about the word fiber. If we're getting simple carbohydrates or stripped of fiber, then this can cause the problem. This can cause the door to get kind of gunky, and this is called insulin resistant. Or when it goes down to that liver and it just keeps storing and storing and storing, that's called fatty liver disease. So, do you see how a lot of this, all these words that we use, are because we're truly not understanding nutrition? And that's where nutrition education is so important.
It sounds like it for sure. And I wouldn't think about these things. And that's why you have to educate people because I think it's so difficult to be able to eat healthy, you know? And so flaxseed, the chia seeds, make sure you have beans. What other sources of fiber?
Well, again, any of your fruits and vegetables as well. So it's basically the structure of our fruits and vegetables and whole grains are going to naturally contain fiber. So any of your plant-based foods contain fiber-rich sources. So if you're mixing it up and getting tomatoes and broccoli, or you're getting in apples and bananas, all of our fruits and vegetables are naturally going to contain fiber-rich sources. And getting in the colors of the rainbow will be a great way to change it up and have variety and also getting in nutrients and vitamins.
And it's not difficult. You just have to go and figure all those things out. Picking up your book is a way to learn some of that too, right?
Yes, the book is a great way to learn all about this. So, I've talked before about our transformation program. It truly is the best thing that we've ever done. It breaks up nutrition in like very easy bite-sized segments so that you're working on carbohydrates, putting those lessons into play, then moving on protein, then moving to fats and meal planning. And so by doing this, you're getting the information that you need, working on that chapter, and then moving on to the next. And over a 12-week period, you'll get all the information so that when you're in the grocery store, you're going to be a very smart consumer and understand how to put this all together.
Some really exciting stuff that we can talk about now. And any other fiber sources? That's pretty much it. Like, what about when you see certain high fiber things when you're in the store, the grocery store? like certain cereals? Are you a fan of certain granola, or is it, are there fiber sources with yogurt sometime? What kind of stuff, if you want to have sort of a sweet and looking at specifically enough, that, like having something that's not so regimented, you can switch up sometimes.
So cereals are tricky, very, very tricky. You need to be a smart consumer when understanding cereal. If you turn over the label and it has carbohydrates, like total carbohydrates, but doesn't have fiber, or the fiber is just 1 or 2 grams, that's not going to be the best source of fiber. It's going to be pretty low. So just being a really smart consumer when it comes to cereal. This got asked on the presentation that we just did. I'm honestly not a cereal fan.
Me either.
No, I do not have it in my house. I've never been a fan of cereal. And it's interesting as I learn more and more about the cereal industry, there's just not a lot of good that comes out of it. It's something that I feel like is so Americana, and a lot of people start their day with cereal, but that can send you truly on a glucose roller coaster ride. Um, I mean, there are some better for you cereals out there. Like one of the originals is like grape nuts. That does have a high fiber content. If you're going to get regular oats, like if it just says oats, that's going to be a whole grain and can be great for you. So there's just, it's just looking and being a smart consumer, turning it over and seeing what foods are actually in that box.
So oatmeal, is that good too?
Yeah. Oatmeal could be great. Oatmeal's a whole grain. And so, I mean, again, look at your box, look at your label, look at the ingredients. If there's 20 ingredients in your oatmeal, you're probably getting a lot of extra things that are in there that you don't need. So, put together, have you ever heard of overnight oats, by the way?
No, I have not.
So overnight oats are a great way to get in oats, but you don't have to cook them. What you do is in a mason jar, you can use add any bowl. You just add oats. You can add dairy milk. You could add kefir. You could add whatever you want, some type of liquid. Overnight, the oats will actually cook themselves in this liquid, which is pretty cool. And then in the morning, you can add berries or whatever to it, but you'll have a ready to go cereal that is whole grain that you don't have to cook.
This is great stuff. The missing out, people miss out if they're not checking out Kelly's Choice. And I'm asking these questions because I'm like looking at, specifically what that meal, how many meals do you recommend someone eat a day?
So we recommend, it depends on everything. So this is where working with a registered dietitian can greatly help you because we're going to look into when are you working? Are you working the day shift, the overnight shift? Or do you have children? What does your schedule look like? And that's where nutrition can become very personalized and making sure that we understand what's going on. So when you ask how many meals should you have a day, I always try to make sure that we're getting 3 meals and a snack. The snack should go in between when your longest meals are apart from each other. And snack doesn't mean snack aisle. Snack still means protein and fiber rich sources together. So not thinking snack as snack aisle as a potato chips and popcorn and pretzels. It's more in the way of making sure we're getting in our fiber and protein rich sources. So about 3 meals and one snack is usually appropriate for most humans.
So protein, fiber is the big thing nowadays, it sounds like.
Protein and fiber. We started this whole conversation off about how do we create more GLP-1 in our body? How do we create that satiety or fullness? I'm telling you, if you eat fiber and protein together, you will naturally promote and help that GLP-1 make in your body, and you will be more satisfied.
All right. So protein and fiber, we definitely have to look further into that as I keep talking to you to learn more and more about those things. I'm a big fan sometimes of intermittent fasting where I'll fast for a certain amount of time, but I try to eat certain healthy foods and I can tell my body, but I do a lot of yoga to really kind of speed up my metabolism. So, but I'm also in that mode like, okay, how can I make it so that the whole family can eat healthy, not just me whenever I have a chance to? Because it's tough to prepare a couple meals for everyone, get everyone eating healthy. So healthy kids meals would be a really interesting topic to get meals that are healthy that yet the kids will still eat as picky eaters they are.
Absolutely. And I'm a firm believer on batch cooking so that you're not having to cook every single meal. Like make a big thing of chicken, but you can use it different ways in the next coming days. Like you can shred it up and put it into tacos. You could have it in a chili. You could add it in different ways, but you only have to make the chicken once. So that's where I honestly really dislike cooking. It's not one of my favorite things. I'd rather mop the floor or do laundry. So that's where if you can make bigger batches of things, you're not having to cook every single day.
All right. Best place to go is kellyschoice.org. Appreciate it,
Yes.
Kelly.
Thank you.
All right. That's special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show. And